And speaking of cross-marketing platform, the Republicans are up to their obstruction again.
I know you didn't predict it, and I thought, once they came to that understanding, which, kind of like when they came to that previous understanding and the understanding before that, and then that understanding that came before that, I thought this one would work out just fine because they agreed to stuff and they shook hands, and people on the Republican side said, we're going to honor this, and they've always honored everything else they said they would, and so I thought we'd be cool.
Right, yes, it comes as quite a shock. There are two filibusters essentially yesterday that took place, or silent filibusters, if you will. We couldn't get to cloture, and that was on Representative Mel Watt, who has been picked to head the FHMA, I guess it is, basically Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Right.
And
what is it that I can't think of what it is that makes him similar to President Obama. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue.
I mean, I think, look, I don't know if that's playing into this other than just sort of generic obstruction. I think there's a real concern by the Republicans that we may actually see some homeowner relief, although it's arguable as to whether or not DeMarco could have done it or if the White House had pressured him. But that appointment is more in the jurisdiction of the so-called deal that was cut in the Senate than the second one, being Patricia Millett, who is nominated for a seat on the First Circuit. We've talked about this court quite a bit.
Well, Sam, 1 second, though, before we move on from Watt, and yes, I don't know that it's racism with all of them, but I assume that some of them just kind of throw everything into the same pot at this point in time. Big government, African Americans, they're kind of like what they do with Obamacare. But beyond that, the important thing to let people know for context here, so you can again realize how unique circumstances we're in and how uniquely crazy these people are, is the last time a sitting member of Congress who was nominated for an appointment for a cabinet-level post was rejected was 1843. So just for people to understand, again, how these guys are taking the culture of Congress that used to work, at least on some level, and trashing it and trashing all traditions so that you cannot respect any sort of past, traditions you had where you trusted them to do what was right. Again, 1843. What was going on then again? I don't know. We were building up towards something in 1843. I can't quite remember, though.
I think it had something to do with something at a theater. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. I want to talk about Millett here because this is a really this is going to be sort of fascinating to see how this plays out. She is being nominated to sit on the first, I believe it's the First Circuit. It's the Washington D.C. Federal Court. And this court, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, this is probably the second most important court in the country after the Supreme Court. All of the financial regulation, all of the questions as to whether or not agencies have authority to basically propagate rules and whatnot goes through this court. It has been, I think, throughout the entire Obama administration, it has been, there's been vacancies that have been unfilled.
It's also a minor league for the Supreme Court.
It is a huge feeder for the Supreme Court. And there are 8 justices sitting. The court calls for 11. There are, I believe it's 5 other justices that make up that make up sort of like almost emeritus. They sit in on some courts. The sitting justices are 4-4 Republican and Democrat, and the Republicans are not even questioning Millett's qualifications. Not at all. She served in.
In fact, even crazy tail gunner Cruz himself complimented her qualifications.
Indeed. I mean, she has argued 32 cases before the Supreme Court. I believe she served in both Republican and Democratic administrations, although I'm not 100% sure about that. But the point is, the argument from the Republicans is not that she's not qualified. It is that they don't think there should be 11 justices on this court. It's not necessary, according to them, which of course...
Because there's not enough of a caseload, is what they're saying. This is, Sam, this is, I mean, I think Claire McCaskill said it best when she just said this is a government shutdown in another way. It's nullification, again, going back to what they did to Watt and looking at the date, and tracing things back. They're doing, again, these guys cannot win at the ballot box. This is a microcosm of what they've been doing to judicial nominations and, throughout Obama's entire presidency, because a long time ago, the Federalist Society and the Reagan people and the rest of them realized if we can just pack the court full of Scalias and Alitos and Robertses and people like that, we can end up winning cases that we have no business winning, and we can end up prolonging, the policies we want that aren't constitutional and wouldn't even be considered. And so this is again, as you said, the second most important court to the Supreme Court. There's a conservative majority right now, and when President Obama has tried to put 3 people on there, which is his right to do as the duly elected commander-in-chief president of our country, they've actually, Chuck Grassley, he of the insane twittering, accused President Obama of court packing, which is literally hysterical if it wasn't a reminder of what lunatics these people are. As if he were putting more people on the court than are called for, which he has not. And, there's 2 more nominees coming up,
Yep.
and they will likely do the same exact thing. It has nothing to do with any of the nominees. They want a conservative majority that they did not earn on the second most important court to the Supreme Court. That's it. It's no different than impeachment. It's no different than stolen presidencies. It's no different than recalls. It's no different than gerrymandering. It's no different than
court packing. It's no different than court packing, because when you say we're going to prevent a president from fulfilling his right to appoint justices on a court, by arguing that there should be less judges on there, they are court packing. They're just doing it in a sort of a negative way.
Well, they're doing it the opposite way.
Yep.
I mean, because it's the same effect. I mean, court packing would mean you would change the makeup of a court by adding extra judges who are of your own party. Here, it's just the same thing in the other direction. They're preventing judges who have a different view. So you're exactly right. I think that's a brilliant analogy. I mean, but it's again shows that the people that have become the base of this party, the sort of southern rural white base, has no respect for democracy in this country. Democracy is great as long as it's delivering landslide victories for Ronald Reagan in 1984. Then democracy couldn't be more awesome. The moment, however, democracy is not working for them because people actually have differing views than they do on virtually everything, which is where we are now, they do not care. They will undermine democracy and then some. And that, again, just like what they're doing with voter suppression and what they're doing with Citizens United, this is the same thing. Yep. This is a way to get around democracy. And I obviously started by being sarcastic before about these deals. Those of us on the left get so tired of the Democratic Party fighting with one arm and both legs tied behind its back, quite frankly, and never come in when the Republicans are willing to do things that are, frankly, breaking rules and breaking laws to get what they want. The Democratic Party won't even do the things within the rules and within the laws. And this is just tiresome. We all knew it was going to go this way last time. We all knew that scummy McConnell was going to shake your hand and say he was going to do what, and he was going to respect it, and he wasn't. This is just like everything else we go through with these guys. What does it take? Just frickin' do the nuclear option already. This is just tiring.
Now,
they will never, ever, ever let you do what you were elected to do.
The one sort of fly in that ointment, of course, and I think this is why it's going to be much harder to get the nuclear option, and when it comes to judges, is that it is much harder for a Democratic senator to give up the ability to stop a future Bork, if you will, than it would be to stop a future executive branch nominee. And
I agree with that, but you know what my answer is to that, Sam? The minute they're in the majority, this is what they will do. They did it before. They were going for the nuclear option back in 2005 until the Democrats let them not have a few picks and then rejected others and let them have pretty much everybody they wanted.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I would understand that argument if anybody believed that these guys who've done everything we've seen them do, from voter suppression to court, to filibustering well beyond what's in the record books, to everything else they've done that is unprecedented or hasn't been things going on since pre-Civil War times, that they're willing to do. So what would make anyone think that the minute these guys take the majority, they won't do the same thing? And they'll do it to legislation too. You'll see. They'll just get rid of the whole damn thing.
And I will say this as well, that if the logic that we keep hearing from the establishment Democrats, that eventually this fever will break, well, if that's really the case, then why not do this? Why not do this? And when the fever breaks, switch it back. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, it's like that.
Right. I mean, we've done that in the past, where there are certain emergency circumstances temporarily, and then you're dealing with reasonable people again. But you're not here. And obviously, I would agree with you and say, hopefully the fever breaks and you could switch it back. I don't expect, this isn't a fever. This is Ebola.
Right.
All right? It's not breaking anytime soon.
Right.
These guys literally have to have all of their extra democratic measures they're trying to take to win things that they have not earned and have not been supported on. Those need to be smashed and crushed and defeated by the will of the majority of people again and again and again, until they're taught that they can't still keep all of their crazy policies and get what they want even when they lose at the ballot box. That they have to maybe reform some of those crazy policies. As long as they think they can keep getting it this way, they can say, well, we can only win a certain number of states, but hell, we're overrepresented in rural states,
right,
and we've gerrymandered, and we can just block everything. So it's okay. As long as they think they can do that, then what's the motivation for them to reform what they believe?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on this, and I hope that Democrats in the Senate get this message. And I think the one thing that sort of cuts against the hesitancy, I think, is that there's got to be more confidence in the Senate right now that that the Democrats are gonna hold the Senate, and so we shall see where that goes.